धारी शिष्य राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु महाभगवत श्रील गोक्षर बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विश्व श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानो गौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अविश्व विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। तदीय शुभ तिथि की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. I just remembered I remembered I need to use a microphone. I totally forgot about that. I can't remember where my microphone is. Anyhow, let's just start the Mangalacharan. Okay, anyhow. Oh, found it. All right. Ajnanatimirandasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Guruve gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye krishnaya krishna bhaktaya tad bhaktaya namo namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gaudiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tang Bhaje. Sorry. Vande Bhakti Vinodang Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhim. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandana Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anusutan vitavamatanum yamuna tatanagaranandasutam murali kalagita vinoraparang bhaja godrumakanana kunjavidum smara gauragadadara kelikalang bhava gauragadadara pakshachara shrinu gauragadadara charukathang bhaja godrumakanana kunjavidum Tavaivasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptascha kamadtaranga madhye kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Niri Haribu, Bhavatarani Mataji, whoever that is watching on your iPhone. And let's see, who else is there? Sorry, one second. Okay, I see. Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj. Thanks, Maharaj, for the message about the mic. I wouldn't have been using the mic if you didn't send me that message. So thank you. And also everybody else who's joining there. If you write a comment, I'll see who you are. Also pranams. I'm guessing Raseshwari Mataji and Indira Mataji are there. Also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, Krishna Vallabha Didi, Ananda Pradayani Didi, Vrinda Didi, Anuradha Mataji, and everybody else. Alright. Oh, actually, one second. I just need to close this cupboard because there's a mouse in this room. One second. Haribol. So today is I don't know what today's program is going to be like because I'm going to try to go through the first two sections of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru. That's Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's first songbook that he wrote in 1880. But they're both really long. There are 19 songs in Upadeśa and can't remember how many songs there are in Upalabdhi. I think also like 19 songs, something like that. And so I actually wrote a post about Kalyāṇa-kalpataru some time ago, so I thought we could go through that post, look at the introduction, and then we'll just jump around, look at a few songs, and that will be our program for today. Today's another day where whenever I don't manage to chant in the morning, then my mind is just really not in a good space. But at least we're just reading today, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, another problem with me is like every morning time, morning time is when I get the most ideas, and that's when I'm most creative. And so then I'll start writing something, and then I don't ever get around to chanting, which is really bad. But all right. Okay, so this is a post I wrote back in 2023. It's on my website, Vine of Devotion. Kalyāṇa-kalpataru overview. And so this is just in first branch, and then I never got around to writing about the second and third branch of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, but this will just give some idea. I guess I don't need to read from this directly, but I'll just tell you. In 2012, when I was working on the first softbound edition of Gaudiya Giti Guccia, which was published in 2013, I stayed at the Bhaktivedanta Research Center in Kolkata, which is a library that they have thousands of books. They got the entire collection of Sundara Vidya Vinod, who had lots of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's own books. It's an amazing collection. And when I was staying there to look at the original sources, I wanted to see how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur originally wrote the songs, because in all different editions of songbooks, you'll find there are differences. Just different words in different places and like that. So I wanted to see what it was originally. And while I was staying there, though, I just walked to one of the massive shelves. Like, the shelf went on for long distance, thousands of books, and I just randomly picked off a book off the bookshelf. And it had nothing on the spine. It was just like a thin book with nothing on the spine. And for some reason, I just lifted off I just took out this book, and it was the very first edition of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru. I didn't even know they had that book, but it was the very first edition, which is the first songbook. Actually, I think it's the only songbook that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur published, because he published the songs of Sharanagati as we went through this. He'd give different songs in Sajan Toshini, and he also published little booklets with the Nagar Kirtans, Nadiyo Godrume Nityananda Mahajan and stuff like that. So he had published other kirtans before, but I think the only actual songbook that he ever published was Kalyāṇa-kalpataru. And so that was really exciting. I didn't even know that they had that book. And it was published so that book that I held in my hands came out when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was only 6 years old. And I even managed to get a PDF. They never hand out the pictures of their books, but I managed to get it because I did some seva for them. And so then the librarian, he shared that with me. So in that edition of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, the first edition, let me just share my screen. Here's Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own handwriting, writing Gaur Arti. Jai Jai Gaura Chandar Arati Koshova. No, actually, Jai Jai Gaura Chandar Arati Koshova was an afterthought. You can see it's written on the side here. Oh, no. No, it's written at the top there. Okay, so it's Nara Hari Ari Kori. Nara Hari Ari Kori. That was an afterthought. And he added that in after this, later on. Okay. Huh. Anyhow, at the beginning of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, at the first edition, he wrote this preface. And I don't think anybody's ever translated this before. I've never seen it translated anywhere. I gave it to my friend Chandrasekhar, and he translated it. And so it says, "A large portion of my life has been filled with heresy. Indeed, the largest portion of my life has been pilfered by useless speculations and discussion, sensual pleasures, laziness, and sleep. Just as from time to time, even in the darkness of an overcast night sky, a flash of lightning can illuminate the world, so too, from time to time, by the grace of the sadhus and Krishna, has my wicked life been illuminated by the beaming glance of Bhakti Devi. At these opportune moments, mandates upon my mind, and pray and make supplications to the lotus feet of the Lord. Some of these instructions, prayers, and kirtans I have compiled and published in this book. The intention of publishing this book is that the Sri Hari Charan Parayan Vaishnavas, that's the Vaishnavas who are intent upon the feet of Sri Hari, reading my prayers, may cast their merciful glance upon me. Thus there would remain no doubt as to whether I will qualify to receive the grace of Sri Nanda Nandan. For the destitute, for the Akinchan, there is no other strength than the mercy of the Vaishnavas. The extremely fallen and lowly Sri Kedarnath Datta. And this is before Srila Bhaktivinoda, he published this book, and he wrote this before he got the title Bhakti Vinod. And so in that edition, that first edition of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, you'll see the last line of every song is different. It never ends with Vinod or Bhakti Vinod, but it says Kedarnath, and like the whole line would be different usually. It's really interesting to see in that edition. You can see like a lot of words crossed out and a lot of sections. Like I think it was Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own editing. And also in that first edition, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur made lots of footnotes. And so we included like footnotes with parallel verses or little explanations and stuff. So we included all those footnotes in this upcoming edition of Gaudiya Giti Guchya. So in that Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, there are two long introductions. And so, but I'm not going to go through those two introductions because they're really long, but they're beautiful. But here are a couple verses from it. So let's just read what I wrote here. In his Sri Upadeśa Amrita, Srila Rupa Goswami provided a fully complete guide that takes us from the initial stages of sadhan, in which we're grappling with the urges of the senses, all the way to the highest attainment, finding refuge at Sri Radha Kund. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, being a topmost Rupanuga, leads us through the same journey by granting us secret access to the wish-fulfilling tree, to the Kalpataru of ultimate well-being, Kalyāṇa. So Kalyāṇa-kalpataru means the wish-fulfilling tree of ultimate well-being, which remains concealed deep within Vaikunta's forest of auspiciousness. He writes about this, concealed deep within the Vaikunta's forest of auspiciousness, that Nishreya is this Kalyāṇa-kalpataru. And that's actually based on a verse by Rupa Goswami, from Srila Rupa Goswami's Vrindavanashtakam. I didn't know that at the time when I wrote this, but yeah, it's something actually I'd like to add in. It like makes this point stronger. So this tree of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, this tree has 3 branches. The first branch is Upadeśa, instruction. The second branch is Upalabdhi, realization, and we'll be going through those 2 branches today. And Uchvas, overflowing emotion. Each branch gradually takes us towards achieving the ultimate divine fruit of Kalyāṇa. And he explains what that Kalyāṇa is service to Radha and Krishna. This is described in the book's introductory verses. So he writes some Sanskrit verses. He says, he writes some Sanskrit verses, and this is also his Bengali translation of those Sanskrit verses. But he says, in Vaikunta, within the forest of ultimate welfare, Nrishayasa, this Kalyāṇa-kalpataru is eternally resplendent. Do you want to see the verse from Rupa Goswami in Vrindavanashtakam? Nah, let's move on. We can do that later. This tree has 3 main branches, which increase the bliss of the wise: Upadeśa, Upalabdhi, and Uchvas. That's instruction, realization, and overflowing of emotion. By taking shelter of this Kalpataru, a wise person attains the fruit of Kalyāṇa, auspiciousness, which is exclusive eternal servitude to the pastimes, to the vilas of Shishi Radha Krishna in the transcendental forest of Vrindavan, the innermost secret portion of the abode of Vaikuntha. To the first branch, Upadeśa. Upadeśa refers to instruction, counsel, or advice. Within this collection of 19 songs, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur imparts strong, incisive guidance to the mind, identifying the specific weaknesses and challenges it faces. After the first printing of the complete Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur printed a second edition 17 years later. That was in 1415, after the 14-15 years after Mahaprabhu's appearance. And he only had the songs in this first branch of Upadeśa in that book. And so the following is written on the first page of that edition. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, "What is delineated in the Vedas, Puranas, and other such scriptures as one's eternal function, one's Nitya Dharma, what Sri Chaitanya imparted to the world through his own life and character while adopting the role of a devotee, and what is eternally reflected in the hearts of renounced devotees, Nirapeksha Bhaktas. It is this that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya has penned in this small collection of poems. According to people's reasoning and inclinations, hundreds of inconsistent or hostile conclusions and practices are invented. But do any of them remove one's thirst for material enjoyment? For this reason, I say, cool your burning heart by just once coming under the cooling shade of this wish-fulfilling tree with sincerity." The publisher. I don't know for sure who the publisher is, but I'm guessing that the publisher is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. I'm guessing he's the one who wrote that, but I don't know. This was written during Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time. So, yeah, you can see advertisements for it in Sajantoshani. So that was all just for this first section, Upadeśa section. Haribol, Chatamai Mataji, and Champak Mataji. Let me just check if anybody else has joined on YouTube and Facebook. Hey, Madhavi's there. Haribol. All right. Okay, so let's just jump around. How much more time do we have to read? 35 minutes. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't prepare anything as usual, but I wrote in the Gaudiya Giti Gucha, I gave a little, for each one of these songs, I wrote a question and then the answer in the song. Because a lot of the beginning verses begins with a question, like, Manare, keno miche bhajiche asar? O mind, why do you worship the world of material elements? And then in the song, he'll give the instruction to his mind. Awaken to your true nature and worship the divine couple. And so I made this, and I put this in the table of contents so that you can see, like, which anartha are you struggling with the most, and then you'll be able to find that song easily. O mind, you are so fond of the waves of lust. Abandon material lust and worship the Cupid of Vrindavan. Why are you so distrustful of spiritual reality? Resolve doubts by staying in the company of saints. And Song 4. Why have you forsaken Sri Hari to worship other gods? Honor them, but worship only Hari, the God of all gods. Song 5. Why do you doubt the personal form of Krishna? Abandon impersonal conceptions and take shelter of Krishna. 6. O mind, what rubbish have you studied? Discard the rubbish of hypothetical reasoning and worship Krishna. 7. What benefit can the soul receive from Ashtanga Yoga? Take shelter of Bhakti Yoga and taste immortal nectar. And 8. Why do you want to become formless Brahma? Give up such desires and learn how to love Krishna. 9. Why do you cling to pride in your caste? It will vanish at death. Strive instead for Krishna Bhakti. And 10. Why do you revel in the glory of your scholarship? The seed of attachment to Krishna cannot sprout from mere knowledge. 11. Why are you so vain about your physical appearance? You're so constantly sing the praises of Hari. 12. Why become intoxicated with wealth? Wealth cannot save you. Live simply and use your wealth to serve the Vaishnavas. 13. Why do you wish to dress as a sannyasi? Do not seek recognition as a Vaishnav. Shun ostentation entirely. 14. Why do you wander from holy place to holy place? Vrindavan is wherever the Vaishnavas dwell. 15. Be careful to not be too absorbed in religious vows. Austerities that obstruct bhakti merely award the result of that austerity. Then 16. So that's like if you try to do too many vrats, like I'm going to wake up at this time and bathe in the morning, like that kind of thing. But anyways, we'll see the details of all these things. 16. You are so fickle and deeply attached to scoundrels. Abandon them and take the association of sincere devotees. And 17. Actually, from 16 to 19, these last ones were written not in the original edition of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, published in 1880, but in the second edition. Okay, sorry. These details are probably not interesting to anybody. I don't know why. Okay, 17. Why do you find fault in the path of the Mahajans? You claim everything there was deceit, but have you ever found bhakti? 18. What can I say to you who make false displays of prem? First become worthy. Only then will prem arise effortlessly. 19. Why do you disguise lust as love? Without progressing through Shraddha, Nishtha, and beyond, prem will never awaken. So we definitely don't have time to read that much at all, actually. So I'll just jump around. Whatever. If any of those topics seemed interesting to you, we can just go through them also. Haribol Deepika Didi. Let's just read the first one and then we'll see. Okay. So, O mind, why do you waste your time worshipping that which is insubstantial? This world of material elements is nothing but ashes for the living entity. It is a boundless ocean of misfortune. The pure soul exists beyond the material elements, untainted by any material designation, ever auspicious, beyond Maya. And the pure soul is the abode of prem. That is your true pure nature. Why, O brother, do you become captivated by this dull material world again and again? Turn around and look for once. The soul is a fountain of immortal nectar. It befits you to focus on that. Established in your true form as spirit soul under the shelter of Sri Chaitanya, always remain in Vrindavan. For all eternity, in the company of the Sakis, joyfully engage in supremely blissful service to the divine couple, making your performance of bhajan of them your everything. As for those foolish souls who forsake such a precious treasure, I see no auspicious destiny for them. Nityakala Saki Sange Parananda Seva Range Yugala Bhajana Korosar. Eheno Yugala. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing is so beautiful. This is not related to anything, so I probably shouldn't be breaking right now. But just this morning, I wrote down some article ideas. Yeah, I wrote down 7 different topics that I'd like to write about related to the kirtans of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Sorry, I need to focus my mind. That's what I told you. In the morning time, I get really creative, and then I just. Anyway, sorry. I was just about to go off track, but I'm gonna let myself do that. Okay, O mind, you are so fond of the waves of lust. Give up material lust and serve pure lust. Explore the spiritual arena. Transient material lust is bereft of peace without repose. Thirsting for it never ceases. You long for the ingredients to sate your lust, but seldom find them. And if you do, they leave you. Actually, I think, the songbook already went to the printers, but I think here I'd probably translate calm here as desire, material desire is bereft of, because usually lust just only sounds like, sexual stuff, but it's material desire, really. You long for the ingredients to sate your material desires, but seldom find them. And if you do, they leave you. Those whom you serve fail to adore you. Bhaktivinoda's limbs burn in sorrow. So abandon artificial lust, or material desire. Or actually, maybe it could mean sexual lust here. Who knows? And because he says, and become someone who longs for what is true. Worship the Cupid of Vrindavan, by whose flower arrows the most intimate prem will spread throughout your eternal body. Worship the Cupid of Vrindavan, by whose flower arrows the most intimate prem will spread throughout your eternal body. Wow, that's so beautiful. Okay. O minds, you are deeply distrustful. You have come to this material world and have become entrapped in the inert plane, ceaselessly attached to the mundane. Having forgotten your own home, you serve lust, which stems from what is inert. You see nothing but matter. Your you-ness, in other words, your true self, has become covered, almost lost within the body. You are forever meditating on materialistic knowledge. With that you create, or you perceive, the world of mobile and immobile beings. To whom shall I speak of this tragedy, O mind? Abandoning your eternal caretaker, you have relied on an insignificant reality. You do not see the truth of the soul, and you have given up the platform of purity. You have taken a respite from your soul. Your doubts about whether the soul exists or not have gradually earned more and more of your honor. In this way you have gradually fallen into mundane delusion and become a stranger to yourself. You have become a stranger to yourself. Heed my words now. Do not become a thief of your own soul. Stay in the company of saintly persons from now on. By the power of the Vaishnav's mercy, your doubts will disperse, and you will become your own again. You will attain the sacred abode of Vrindavan and serve Sri Radha Shyam, your body suffused with shivers and tears. Bhaktivinoda's wealth is the worshipful feet of Radha and Krishna. May you, O mind, remain incessantly attached to them. See how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in all these songs, and you'll see in the later songs also, he's always emphasizing this point about the nature of our soul, and how it's the nature. Don't become a thief of your own soul. You're a stranger to yourself. Always this identity of who is the soul, and also how it's the soul's nature to experience prem. Where did he write that? Is this just recent? Anyways, is in one of these songs just now. We just read it. He says the pure soul is the abode of prem, untainted by material element, by any material designation. And so this is actually the topic that Sundar Gopal will be focusing on This was the topic of his PhD that he got from Oxford University, and this is what he'll be presenting for the first time at the Bhaktivinoda Thakur retreat. It's like the all essential teaching. Like really, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave all emphasis on this point. That's the meaning of the title Jaiva Dharma. What is the nature of the jiva? Been contested by these days, and like lots of people in our own Gaudiya family are now contesting Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's points on this topic. So that's, anyway, sorry. Okay, now, O minds, you are very fallen. Wait, which one is this? Let's skip this one, just because we don't have so much time. And this is also like, anyways, whatever. Let's read this one. O minds, why do you harbor these doubts? You despise matter, and therefore fear worshipping the object of prem, Sri Hari, and perceiving his personal form. If you meditate on his personal, and then you think this, if you meditate on his personal form, the inert and its material forms will ultimately achieve dominion over you. Due to this fear, you contemplate reality as being composed of Brahma, having firmly decided, impersonal Brahman, having firmly decided that it is without form or attribute, and that it is all-pervading and eternal, without any identity. Due to an absence of the object of love, your own inherent nature does not manifest in your heart. Thus, you are left only with an absence of bhav, only bhavyar abhav, an absence of bhav, of spiritual sentiment. Give up these ensnaring ropes of hypothetical reasoning and take shelter of Krishna Chandra, the manifestation of supreme bliss. Krishna's personal form is comprised of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, and it is the abode of all bliss and sweetness. This one uncommon form is complete in form ubiquitously. Sorry, I always have a hard time saying that word. The all-pervading Brahma is not. Therefore, Brahma is his widely expansive bodily effulgence, and is referred to as Brihat, as vast. Brahma, this impersonal Brahma, is ultimately Parabrahma, which is indeed Sri Krishna himself, for whom Bhaktivinoda has deep love. Now the sixth song. O mind, what rubbish have you studied? You studied in Navadip, bore the title Nyaya Ratna, gem among logicians, and made the pompous croaking of frogs your focus. And then these are in Nyaya. These are all different categories within Nyaya. I had to ask Sundar Gopal about this. But you deliberated on Padartha Gyan, knowledge of fundamental categories such as substance, dravya. You also deliberated on the grounds for defeat, nigrahastan, such as misinterpretation, chal, and on inherence, samavaya. You never considered that the ultimate result of hypothetical reasoning, tarka, is a fearsome, deadly poison, the effect of which is difficult to check. Your heart has become hard. The seed of devotion has not sprouted. How will you cross the ocean of material existence? How can a person who reasons that God is little more than a potter shaping the visible world engage in sadhan? You abandon natural samadhi and revere knowledge derived through inference, anumiti. By this, your heart remains fixated on hypothetical reasoning. Precious Krishna cannot find a comfortable seat in such a heart. Oh, fie on that logic rubbish! Keep the unjust doctrine of Nyaya far away at all times. Worship the quintessence, Krishna Chandra. And then I haven't been reading the footnotes that Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote, but he wrote this footnote here. Naisha Tarkena Matir Apaneya. This is from Kata Upanishad, which says, the Guru says to his disciple, this understanding cannot be attained through argument, but it is easy to attain when taught by another, by a realized teacher, dear boy. So by our own effort, we can't come to the true conclusion, but it can only be through Sri Guru. It can only be imparted by Sri Guru. So, I mean, some of these songs I don't really feel relate to me personally so much. Like, I have never gotten into Nyaya, but you'll see like somebody who's like has um like attraction to the impersonal form of Godhead. There's two songs in here about that. We just went through one. Somebody who's studied logic, and then there's a song for them also. And yeah, so this is like, also, this is, I've never tried to become a yogi or like perform lots of yoga practices and all that, but let's look at this song here. It says, "O minds, longing to become a yogi, you study the scriptures on yoga, the practice of restraints and observances, niyam and yam, breathing exercises, that's pranayam, and body postures. You have vowed to withdraw your senses from their objects, that's pratyahara, to meditate, dhyan, to practice perseverance, dhriti, and to achieve samadhi. But you say nothing of what the actual fruit of all this will be. You will dry up your body and mind and suspend your breath, imagining your soul to be one with Brahma. Upon attaining, and by performing yoga, all these yoga practices perfectly, then upon attaining the 18 mystic perfections, you will forget the supreme goal of life and hanker for further opulence and powers. Relinquishing gross matter, you will enter the astral plane and yet again reap torment. The soul itself is eternal, pure wealth. The servant of Hari thus hankers for naught. What benefit can the soul receive from yoga? Take shelter of bhakti yoga, and no fear shall remain in you. It will then be possible to taste the natural nectar of immortality. Bhaktivinod's plea is this: give up aspiring for other yogic paths and engage in worship of Radha and Krishna. I remember when Srivas translated all these Upadeśa songs, and I remember when Srivas was translating it, he had a friend from Canada who isn't at all a devotee, and his friend got very deep into yoga practices, but like very deep into it for a very long time. So all of Patanjali's yoga sutras, he knew them forwards and backwards, and he had been practicing all these yoga practices. He was in India to practice under this like not very well known teacher, like very old teacher who's like super old and who comes from a whole lineage. It was like he was really going for the real deal when it comes to Ashtanga yoga, and he just so happened to be staying with Srivas in Vrindavan when Srivas was translating this song. And actually, Srivas managed to get him, he's been performing these yogic practices for a very long time, like for many, many, many years. But Srivas, I think he used the song also, and he started to get him into bhakti yoga. And he started chanting and like that, which is pretty cool. But in this song here, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the first edition of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur included a 4-page footnote, and it was in really small text. It filled up full 4 pages explaining that yoga is of 3 types. There's Ashtanga yoga, Jnana yoga, and Bhakti yoga, and that only Ashtanga yoga is being referred to in this kirtan. So it's not referring to Jnana yoga and Bhakti yoga. This is talking about Ashtanga yoga in particular. And then that footnote elaborates on the 8 limbs of Ashtanga yoga. So he goes through yam, moral restraints, and then all the details of yam, and then niyam, observances, and then all the details of those observances, and then asan, and then all the types of asans there are, and then pranayam, breath control. Like it filled up 4 pages with small text going deep into what all the categories of this Ashtanga yoga is. And then after all of that, he says, upon examining the aforementioned yoga, its methods and results, it becomes apparent that the ultimate purpose of yoga is indeed Bhagavat Prem. And actually, yeah, the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and all that, the goal of it can be Prem for Bhagavat Prem. But due to yoga's many difficulties and extraneous results, the jiva, while practicing it, may experience much distress. Therefore, the yoga of bhakti ras is the most beautiful in all respects. It is easily attainable and certainly all auspicious. A devotee has no need for Ashtanga yoga. Just practicing some pranayama for bodily vigor is sufficient. I thought that was kind of interesting, huh? That he said that, okay, you can practice some pranayama for bodily vigor. But all the other parts of Ashtanga yoga, pranayama is like breath control. My Gurudev would do pranayama, like you do like different breath exercises in the morning. Okay, so here's another song about why do you want to become formless Brahma? Give up such desires and learn how to love Krishna. We'll skip this one though, because we already read one song on this topic. What time is it? Oh my God. Okay, we need to move on to Upalabdhi. We only have 10 minutes left. Let's just read a couple more. Why are you so vain about your physical appearance, O brother? This body is temporary. It is never permanent. Once death comes, nothing remains. These limbs will grow cold, and the eyes will remain motionless. The body will turn to ashes in the flames of the funeral pyre. The beauty of the face you incessantly gaze upon in the mirror will be a meal for dogs and jackals. The clothes you adore, the ornaments you wear, where will they be then? Your wife, children, and friends will all take you to the crematorium. Your wife, just imagine this, your wife, your children, your friends, they're taking you to the crematorium, and then they'll burn you and return home. To whom do you belong? Who is yours? Understand and see the truth now. The body will surely perish. You want everlasting security? Then sing the praises of Hari constantly and continually chant his name. Give up specious logic and worship Krishna. Therein lies Bhaktivinod's refuge. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Now this is the... Anyways, O mind, the intoxication of wealth is utterly inane. Wealth, followers, and assets are all dependent on this body. Once the body perishes, they are all worthless. Despite all the efforts of science and all the advice of physicians, no one can keep the body alive forever. Once the breath stops, all that is left is the body, as the soul does not remain in its container. If wealth could infuse one with life, an affluent king would not die, and Ravan would have remained immortal upon this earth. Wealth does not preserve the body. No one endures beyond the body's demise. So what can wealth do? If you have great wealth, then live simply and render service to the Vaishnavas. Always show compassion to the living entities, and always engage in the worship of Radha and Krishna, maintaining proper conduct all the while. I can see this song would give a lot of solace if somebody has a lot of wealth and they lose it somehow. But then also for somebody who has a lot of wealth, they need to, if you have wealth, then live simply and render service to the Vaishnavas. Why do you wish to dress as a sannyasi? O mind, why do you seek the guise of a sannyasi? The more you dress up externally, the emptier you are inside. You make your body dance in your worship of vanity. Heed my words. Purify your heart by always drinking the nectar of Krishna. Find a way to pass your life easily, so that there will be no obstacles in your bhakti. Be satisfied with whatever you can obtain easily. Do not allow ostentation to drive your endeavors. If you cannot clothe yourself fully, then wear a loincloth. O brother, in winter, wear a quilt. You may not have aloewood and sandalwood, O brother, but you have clay with which to make tilak. Instead of necklaces, wear neck beads. Curb the bonds of desire thus. The twisted pursuit of happiness and the like, and thus relinquish the torment of material existence. The disciplines of renunciation of sannyas and of detachment of vairagya are certainly treasures of the ashram system, but, oh brother, never overly revere. Such adulation offers no true escape from worldly life. Instead, it becomes the constant mark of a hypocrite. Oh, I'm a sannyasi, or I am a vairagi. There's like pride that comes. But this type of adulation offers no escape, no true escape from worldly life. Instead, it becomes the constant mark of a hypocrite. You are the servant of Chaitanya. Devotion to Hari is your aspiration. What fruit is there in adopting the external markers of an ashram? Drive prestige far away. Your abode is in Shantipur, the town of peace. The grace of saints is your resource. It is not necessary to introduce oneself as a Vaishnav. Never stray into ostentation. Bhaktivinoda's plea is that you forever sing of Radha and Krishna's, how do you say this word? Multitudinous virtues, calling them out at the top of your lungs again and again. Pukari, pukari sadagao. Okay, let's read one more and then we'll just read a couple things from Upalabdhi. So, why do you want, O mind, you are always obsessed with holy places, Ayodhya, Mathura, Haridwar, Varanasi, Kanchipur, Avanti, Dwarka, and the rest. You want to roam throughout all these places again and again in order to obtain salvation. That is simply your delusion and is a pointless toil. You cannot still your mind in these holy places. And this is, I remember Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj would quote this verse. He'd say, Tirtha phala sadhu sangha antaranga Shri Krishna bhajana manohar. Actually, no, maybe, anyways, whatever. The fruit of going to holy places is saintly association. And performing intimate bhajan of Shri Krishna in saintly association is utterly enchanting. Wherever a saint dwells is a holy place. Steady your mind and stay forever in the company of saints. Jata sadhu, tata tirtha. Wherever a sadhu dwells, that is a holy place. Steady your mind. Stir kori nija chitta sadhu sangha koro nirantar. So steady your mind and stay forever in the company of saints. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. And says, as long as the self identifies with material designations, it remains bound to karma. From this, suffering arises, and the influence of Maya continues. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, for the living entity... Oh, sorry. That was the wrong footnote. I was like, wait, that doesn't have to do with it. I think it's at the end we have the footnote. Okay. Je tirtha Vaishnavanai se tirtete nahi jai. I never go to holy places where there are no Vaishnavas. What is the point of walking to far-off lands? Wherever the Vaishnavas are, is Vrindavan. In that place, the bliss is endless. This is the place this is what Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami should quote. Jathai Vaishnavagan, she sthan Vrindavan, she sthane ananda ashesh. Where there is devotion to Krishna, salvation herself is a maidservant. The water is the celestial Ganga. The mountains are Govardhan. The land is Vrindavan. And the Lord's pleasure potency is automatically present. Bhaktivinoda has said, what fruit do I gain by wandering elsewhere? To serve the Vaishnavas is my pledge. And this is the footnote that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives. So he quotes the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter, verse 16. It says, O learned sages, and one who has faith and eagerness to hear, a taste for the narrations of Vasudeva may arise through service to great souls and through visits to sacred pilgrimage sites. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes,
the fruit of pilgrimage to sacred places is finding sadhus. So what's the fruit? Why do we go to these places of pilgrimage? The only reason is because there we'll find sadhus. And the fruit of serving sadhus is taste in Hari Katha. So next time we go on pilgrimage somewhere, we come to Vrindavan, we go to Navadvip, we go anywhere, any holy place, then we have to know, why am I going there? I'm going there to find sadhu sangha, because then if I get a chance to serve the sadhus, so my objective is to get taste in Hari Katha and by serving the sadhus. That's why I go on pilgrimage. This is a good song to sing before observing Kartik. Anyways, it is now, we have 2 minutes. Okay, didn't even get to go. Let's just look at Upalabdhi. So this is the Upadeśa, first branch of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru, and now here's Upalabdhi. This is the second branch. Awakening to one's ultimate welfare. Oh, sorry, that was Upalabdhi means realization. Sorry. Upalabdhi. I accidentally looked at Sharon Yunai. Okay, so Upalabdhi means realization. And this Upalabdhi, this realization, is divided into 3 parts. First is realization arising from sincere remorse. So after you're following these instructions, we didn't go through all the instructions in Upadeśa, but you just got a taste of it. So once you start, following these instructions, and you're controlling, you're chastising your mind, mind, why are you doing this? And you're following this, then you'll start to get some realization. And when you get this realization, you'll feel this remorse, like, there's a realization that arises from you. Right now, that's the problem, is that we don't feel this remorse. I think, yeah, everything is all right. I'm doing all right. It's not like, yeah, I don't have so much taste, but whatever, it's okay. But once you actually start following these instructions, and you're disassociating yourself from your mind, and you're really now actually making an endeavor to perform the sadhana and to give up all these bad habits, and you're chastising your mind like that, then you'll start to realize, oh my God, I've been wasting all my time, and you'll start to feel remorse, deep remorse. And that is the most auspicious thing, when you start to actually feel remorse. Right? And there's Chaita Darpana Marjanam, and then there's Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. But we have to come to the realization that, oh my God, I'm in this burning fire. Please help me. And there's this desperation. And so then once you come to that, once you start trying to follow these instructions, now these are the songs of realization born of remorse. And then there's realization born from disenchantment. Start to feel disgusted with this material world. Oreman, bhalo nahi lage e samsara. I don't like this material world. It's such a horrible place. And so, yeah, and then, so there's 5 songs in each of these. 5 songs in realization arising from sincere remorse. 5 songs in realization arising from disenchantment. And then there are these songs on the topic of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. These songs are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I wish we could go through them, but we can't. It's already time's finished. It's 8 o'clock. Maybe let's just do one song from these 2 categories. So we'll go through 2 more songs. I'm just going to read the translation, and then we'll end. We'll be like 2 minutes over time. Actually, I'll say 5 minutes over time. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go to a random song in this. Okay, this is song number 2 in realization arising from remorse. Sadhu Sangha na hoi lo hoi. Alas, I did not associate with saintly persons. And like, association with saintly persons doesn't just mean being around them. It means actually trying to follow them and serve them and trying to please them. And like, association is a whole other thing. So I did not associate with saintly persons in the true sense. My days have passed in vain, in simply earning money. But where did the supreme wealth go? Giving up gold, I became enamored with worthless lumps of dirt. This is surely the sign of a luckless wretch. Associating with those disconnected from Krishna, I gave up saintly persons, spending my life in pride and arrogance. When I would see expressions of bhakti, I would laugh inwardly, dismissing them as signs of madness. The refinement I once regarded as the pinnacle of culture led me to lose a wish-fulfilling gem. What finally became of that refinement? Puffed up by the vanity of knowledge, I neglected the sublime reform of bhakti. In this way, I forwent my true self-interest. Now that corrupt knowledge, bound by matter, has vanished, leaving me engrossed in reaping the fruits of my actions. Now, if the saintly persons have mercy on this sinner and confer upon me a drop from the ocean of bhakti, then easily I will be freed from the bondage of material existence and cross this ocean of samsara. Okay, so that's one example of this section. Oh, these two songs are really... Anyways, let's just skip this because I can go on forever going through these songs. We just need to sing. We'll go through one last song. This is Realization Arising from Disenchantment. 5 songs in this section. Let's look at the first one. Nothing in this world brings lasting joy. O mind, bhalo nahi lage e sangsar. I do not like this material world, which is filled with birth, death, and old age. Tell me, what real substance does this world hold? Wealth, followers, and family, none ever truly belongs to anyone. Friends in good times, strangers in bad. The things we want to keep do not last, O brother. All is fleeting. All perishes. See, so many times there are friendships, lifelong friendships, that then just there'll be one incident that happens and then they'll become strangers. So friends in good times, strangers in bad. The things we want to keep do not last, O brother. All is fleeting, all perishes. This would be really nice for somebody who's going through a breakup. They can take shelter of this. Jahan raki bari chai, tahan nahi take vai. The human lifespan is very short. In due course, it diminishes, and meeting with death draws near. Disease and lamentation are unpreventable. They devastate the heart. Friends are taken from us by terrible accidents. Look carefully, O brother. There is no undiluted bliss here. Whatever joy there is a source of sorrow. For that kind of happiness, then, why be Maya's slave? You will lose the most valuable treasure. As you consult history, reflect deeply in your own heart. How many miscreants, with their wicked desires, make sense pleasure their all in all and commit so many misdeeds? In the end, they all met with certain death. At the time of death, having lost all means of escape, they are burned in the fire of remorse. Alas, they pass their lives almost like dogs and other beasts, never considering the ultimate goal of life. Why, O minds, do you remain unconscious of such matters? Relinquish the aspirations for sense objects. Charo vishayar ash. Take shelter at the feet of Sri Guru, and you will conquer the entire material existence. This servant is certain of that. Can we do one last song? Let's just do one last song, because I wish we got to do a full day of each, but I had to give, I couldn't, yeah, anyway, sorry, let's just. O mind, why do you aspire to increase material prosperity? However high you rise in the world, that far you will eventually fall. Be calm, hold fast to my words. Desire has no limit. Brother, the path of hope is forever riddled with the thorns of despair. The path of hope is forever riddled with the thorns of despair. The more you prosper, the more hope grows. It does not abate. Nor does hope distinguish the eternal from the fleeting. Today you'll obtain one kingdom. Tomorrow you'll want another. If you obtain all kingdoms, still your ambition does not subside. What remains is a position of Indra. Then leaving that to the wayside, you aspire for the power of Brahma. Once you leave aside the position of Brahma, O brother, you'll become obsessed with attaining the position of Shiva. Once man attains the position of Shiva, he aspires to become the same as Brahma, all-pervading divinity. Then I want to become the supreme absolute, all-pervading absolute truth, following in the footsteps of Shankaracharya. Therefore, keep the noose of ambition, which leads to utter ruin, far from your heart. A mood of humble detachment under the shelter of Chaitanya's feet, and live forever in Shantipur, the town of peace. Okay, so we'll end here, even though I'd love to go through more kirtans. But this is just a small taste of Upadeśa and Upalabdhi. These are the first two branches of Kalyāṇa-kalpataru. And even though we didn't get time to go through it like in so much detail now, after Gaur Purnima time, I really want to go through these songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur without worrying about time, and we can just spend as much time as we feel we need on each song, and really, so much to say. I'm going to end here. Let's just end here. But these songs are really our greatest friends, and I can completely, even if we just spend a little time with the songs every single day, it can completely transform our lives, completely transform it can. Anyways, let's end here. I'll go on if I let myself talk. So, Jai. I'll sing Mahamantra then. And tomorrow we will go through. We'll have 2 days going through Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs on the verses of Raghunath Das Goswami's Manashiksha. Yeah. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Oh man, I'm feeling really excited. I really want to go through Upalabdhi right now. Anyhow, the last part also, Sambandha Abhidya Prayojan, those songs, man. We will go through it after Gaur Purnima time. Alright. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swapar Shaji Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Jai Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai, his transcendental book Kalyāṇa-kalpataru Ki Jai, Jai Shri. And we didn't say anything about Lochan Das Thakur, but anyways, Jai Lochan Das Thakur Ki Jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi Ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams Nri Hari Prabhu Bhavatarani Mataji, whoever that is watching on their iPhone, Chatamai Mataji, Champak Mataji, Deepika Didi, and all the devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see who's there. Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams Maharaj, and Madhavi Didi, good morning, Pranams, and Krishna Premavati Didi, Dandavat Pranams, Ganga Mataji, Vidya Lalasa Didi. Krishna Premavati Didi is asking, when will this new songbook be printed and be available? Well, I'm really hoping that this book will be ready by our Bhaktivinoda Thakur retreat. It's at the printers. I just asked them to put in 3 ribbons in the book, 3 different colored ribbons, so that, wouldn't that be cool? But I'm hoping that doesn't delay anything. So yeah, but and if they don't get it ready for the Bhaktivinoda Thakur retreat, I'm hoping at least they'll be able to have it ready for Navadvip Parikrama, but we'll see. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before we end the... Oh, I forgot to mention, to offer like Shachi Devi, Jai Dev Prabhu, Ananda Pradayani, Krishna Vallabha Didi, Vrinda Didi, Anuradha Mataji, and everybody else. Pranams. Also, if you write a comment, if you write a comment when you watch, I just mention the names of people I see write comments a lot, and so if you write a comment, I'll add your name to the list. I'll know that you're watching. All right. So, yeah. See you all tomorrow for Mana Shiksha. These Mana Shiksha songs, man. Well, yeah. We'll see. Well, even 2 days is definitely not enough time to go through all those songs. Because they're more songs, and they go very deep in depth in these verses of Mana Shiksha. But we'll just get a taste of those songs, just barely dip our toe into the water. But and then after Gaur Purnima time, we'll be able to spend as much time as we need on these songs. Yeah, that's the point of this program, just to give you an idea of these different categories. And then, all right, Haribol. Yeah, if anybody wants to mention anything, this is your chance. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. Okay? Dandavat pranams. Haribol. Just looking one last time at the comments here. Vidyalala Sadidi says, where will we be able to purchase it? Well, initially, you'll be able to get it in India, the Gaudiya Giti Gocha. You'll be able to get it in Vrindavan and in Navadvip. And then eventually it will be sent to the warehouse in the US and warehouse in other places, and then you'll be able to get it in other countries. But yeah, initially it will just be in India. So if you have any friends going to Navadvip that will be going back to Africa or wherever you are, then you can have them bring a copy for you. Right. Dandavat pranams. Haribol. See you all tomorrow. Oh, it's Leela Nath Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Oh, he already left.